Over the past 2 days, the offense has taken off for Bob Melvin and the boys. 19 runs in 2 games have the A's in a good place. Last night, they pounced on the Mariners at Safeco Field, scoring 7 in the 5th and 11 runs overall, and took Game 1 in Seattle. Tonight, Jesse Chavez will continue his recent success as he is coming off a nice outing against the Dodgers. Jesse and the A's offense will try to get their win streak to 3. It's Game 2. A's, Mariners, next. Well, after a wild win last night for the Athletics, they're back to work tonight. Game 2 of the series, and the A's are looking for their 3rd consecutive win. Jesse Chavez is looking to build on a terrific start last week, and we are set for baseball from Safeco Field in Seattle. It's the Oakland A's and the Seattle Mariners coming up on CSN California. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Last night, A's trailing 5-0 after 4 innings, and Ray, quite frankly, it didn't look good. Iwakuma was pitching great, but then the 2-out hits started to come, and that's always a great sign.
It's always great to see the 2-out runs. The hits came with that. Started with Steven Voda, blooped down the left field line. Should have been a base hit. Trumbull turned it into a double. Then here come the rookies. How about Billy Burns down the line? Mark Canha down the other line, driving in, both of them driving in 2 runs. It just continued. And then Valencia with a 2-run home run, top of the wall. That gave the A's a 7-5 lead. Then Josh Reddick, base hit up the middle. So many great things happened for the Athletics last night. This home run by Reddick, some great hustle, but just a great game, especially when you scored that many runs with 2 outs, 10 of the 11, and the A's came up with a victory.
For Jesse Chavez, 23rd start of the year coming up tonight. And Ray, I think you can make an argument that his last start against the Dodgers was his best start of the year.
But the key number you just said, number 23. Last year, just 21 starts, but against the Dodgers, he was spectacular. What Bob Melvin did towards the end of the ball game, the 8th inning, was even better, but he got everything working. The 2-seam fastball, the sinker, the good curveball, he had everything working. But more impressively, in the 8th inning, with a tying run on base at second base, he did this. He got Jimmy Rollins. He struck him out in the 8th inning. You saw how Jesse was pumped up. He deserved it because he picked up the win going 8 innings in his 22nd start. That was special for him.
All right, the Mariners will send left-hander Mike Montgomery to the mound. He beat the A's earlier this year up in Oakland. So when we come back, we'll check in with the guys in the A's pregame live studios, and then back to Seattle for lineups and first pitch. It's the A's and the Mariners coming up on CSN California.
brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the new steak and egg breakfast burrito at Jack in the Box. It's not your basic breakfast burrito. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Black Bear Diner. Feed your inner bear.
Could go for one of those, Ray, right before first pitch.
You like those hot dogs outside,
Man,
was it
good.
Toronto's your favorite?
Toronto's pretty darn good, although I may give that a shot tomorrow.
Well, make sure you bring some upstairs then.
All right, I may do
in
that.
case you're early.
Closing in on first pitch, game 2 of this series, and let's check the game time weather. It's presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Another pleasant night with a little hint of fall in the air. 76 degrees, but nice and cool. Throw a jacket on and you'll be set to go on a beautiful night for baseball here in Seattle. Safeco Field. As expected, the roof is open. A's with a big comeback win last night. And let's see what they can do tonight. The lineup that Bob Melvin puts down has Billy Burns in center, Mark Canha at first. Brett Lawrie will hit third and play second. And then Valencia in the cleanup spot, followed by Fegley, Smolinski, Butler, Reddick, and Simeon. That's the A's lineup for tonight.
And Mike Montgomery, as Kipe said, started against the A's in Oakland, beat them by a score of 2-1, a game in which Chris Bassett started. As usual, not getting a lot of run support, but this young man, similar to a couple of relievers the A's saw last night, lefties, type of pitches, fastball, low 90s, get the curveball, slider, and changeup, a couple of different fastballs, but the one guy who took him deep in that game at Oakland, Sam Fuld, not in the lineup tonight. Sam took him deep. The only run the A's would score against Montgomery and the Mariners in that game, losing 2-1.
Mariners defense as Brad Miller left, Austin Jackson in center, and our old friend Seth Smith is in right. Then Seager, Marte, Cano, and Morrison on the infield. Then Zunino is your catcher. So we're set for baseball as Billy Burns will hit from the right side against the lefty Mike Montgomery.
And let's see. First pitch, fastball, see if he swings.
First pitch fastball, he does, and it's a base hit to center field. It almost as if, Ray, you've seen Burns do this before.
You know, and a smile on his face. I don't blame him for smiling because he has to be just thinking, what's wrong? I mean, this is game number 127. It's not like Billy Burns has ever swung a first pitch fastball, but they continue to throw it. See the big hole up the middle? That's where he takes it to lead off this game with a base hit to center.
So Burns, a couple of hits last night, one pitch into the game. He's got a hit tonight, and here's Mark Canha. Canha's the A's hottest hitter. Another big night last night. He was 2 for 5. A couple of doubles. A couple of RBIs, a couple of runs scored, I should say. Jim Reynolds is calling balls and strikes tonight. Your crew chief is at second base. That's fielding Culper.
Whenever a game begins, after the first pitch is delivered, the in-house PA will announce first pitch whatever time. Back-to-back games, that PA announcer has waited until Billy Burns has swung at the first pitch, and then he's announced first pitch at whatever time. But it's amazing. He keeps getting the fastballs, and
be careful, Billy.
Man, that's scary. Not only did he slip on top of the base, which is very slippery, but could hurt himself as well. And thinking about Walt Weiss, when he played for the Athletics, did this same thing and injured his hamstring. And that's what can happen if you land on top of the base. They are slippery, and there are times that can happen. Let's hope he's okay.
And I would guess, Ray, the only reason they're slippery is because they're hard. And so the spikes are not going to really dig into the bag at all.
Yeah, very hard, and they're close to the ground. I mean, they have a big pole that goes down into the ground to make sure they're sturdy. It's not like the old style where you would tie them. Kind of
that would be old style.
The removable base that you slide in and the base goes into left field. But now that is, it's got a peg right in the middle. You don't see it, but
it's probably what, 6 inches deep, the peg?
Yeah, at least that, because it will not move. And that's why when it's square, like a square peg and a square hole, and not round on round, but round on square, but it does stay securely on the ground. And that's why too, when you see a base runner hitting the bag and moving to another base, they hit it on the side, kind of push off. They don't hit on top of the bag because they will do probably what Billy Burns just did.
So 1-2 to Canna with Laurie waiting in the on-deck circle. Montgomery keeping a very close eye on Burns, who is 24 steals. He's been thrown out 5 times.
Have to wonder in this situation, and we all know that Bob Melvin and coaching staff, they have a don't run. I mean, a guy like Billy Burns will have a green light. Mark Canha is so hot that sometimes a sign will be given to the runner, don't run, and that means unless you get a sign, then get it.
He goes, and the ball's hit hard to Seager, who juggles and then throws, and they just get Canha at first. So Burns will be at second base.
And you think if that had been a play, it would have been around the horn possible double play, but Seager, very strong arm. Mark Canha just barely thrown out at first base. Seager, for some reason, looked at second. I don't know why. Yeah. And because Burns, whenever Billy Burns is running, he's going to make it to second without even a throw coming from an infielder. So why even waste the time and look? In this case, he bobbled.
Laurie, a big bouncer, more action for Seager. Checks on the runners and throws out Laurie. 2 outs here in the first inning, and that'll bring up Danny Valencia. Big home run last night for Valencia in that 7-run 5th inning. It was quite an inning. The A's did a lot of good things. They hustled, and the Mariners did a lot of bad things. And when it was all said and done, the A's had the lead, and then they just added on from there.
As I mentioned, Danny Valencia hit the knuckleball from R.A. Dickey. That was a split finger fastball from Iwakuma that really did nothing except hit the top of the wall and go into the bullpen. And that's 7 runs, and that was it for Iwakuma.
2-0 to Valencia.
Well, like Mark Canha, Valencia, one of the A's hot hitters, and have to wonder first base open. Do they take a chance with him or with Fegley in the on-deck circle? And it always has to be aggressive just in case he gets a pitch to hit, even though they might be pitching him carefully.
So 3-0 to Valencia. Fegley would be next. It may have had the green light.
Sure did.
He did not swing at it.
Well, he's not going to do very much with this low fastball that was in the lower part of the strike zone, and it was not just a normal take on 3-0. Looked like he's been pretty aggressive.
And there is the walk. 2 on 2 out for Fegley. Now, Ray mentioned that start for Montgomery when he beat the A's back on July 5th. So that's the good news for Montgomery. The bad news is he has not won since then.
Yeah.
And that was July 5th.
Yeah.
He's gone 8 starts since his last win.
And the final score of the game that he did win was 2-1,
Yep.
thanks to his bullpen the last 3 1/3 innings.
So it has been a while. 0-4 with an ERA of 7.45 in those last 8 starts. And again, since he beat the A's, he got off to a great start. In fact, he had back-to-back shutouts on June 23rd and June 30th. And talking baseball for a couple weeks. And then right after those 2 shutouts, that's when he beat the A's. So he was rolling along with 3 straight wins, but tough time since then for Mike Montgomery. And now it's 3-0.
And you know, just when you think you have the baseball figured out, it just jumps up and bites you.
Silly you. Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you just play the game, do the best you can, and the season's over. You evaluate and stay right in the middle of the road, not too high, not too low.
In there for a strike to Fegel.
It's going to be an interesting pitch on 3-1 with 3-1 to Valencia, and you know, he's a little bit wild anyway as Smolinski waits. But Valencia got a fastball off the plate in, maybe kind of an intentional walk. Fegley should be getting a pretty good fastball to hit.
Accusing foul, and it was indeed a fastball, but down in the strike zone. So pretty good pitch by Montgomery.
Well, Fegley is at his best when he does not try, in the case of 3-1, try to really do some damage. It's more of a reaction for him. And maybe now 3-2, thinking about another pitch besides the fastball may slow him down a little.
So the runners will be on the move. Burns at second, Valencia at first. Outfield plays Fegley to pull. Runners go, and the pitch is off the end of the bat, roll foul.
See how he pulled off that pitch?
He did.
You pull off and you get it off the end of the bat, and that's, instead of taking the ball to the opposite field, they are playing him in the outfield. Fegley straight up, infield straight up, but just watch the hips open. So he's opening up, and the pitch was outside. If he tries to drive the ball to right field, he may hit the gap between first and second, and the same pitch is outside, although they're going to stay out.
And he's got a base hit to left field, and they're going to wave Burns home. The throw is late, and the A's get another 2-out RBI hit. So they pick up right where they left off last night. Fegley with the single knocks in a run, and the A's lead 1-0.
3-2, stayed back and looked like an off-speed pitch. It was a changeup, and Fegley went out and got it. So an interesting call. Mike Zunino went to the changeup, and not a bad call, except that his pitcher left the ball up. Fegley again went out and got this one, and to stay back on a changeup 3-2 is pretty impressive. Very good at bat by Fegley, getting his 28th run batted in.
So the first pitch to Smolinski is high.
When you fall behind hitters, Zunino's going to talk to his pitcher, but you got Lordy ground out on the first pitch. Canna first pitch strike. Burns, of course, first pitch anything. Rick Waits is going to visit with his lefty.
So 19 pitches in this first inning, but it seems like he's thrown about 30. 2 hits and a walk.
Last year, Rick Waits was brilliant as a pitching coach. He had the best bullpen, and now the struggles for a pitching coach, and it's year to year. And when things are going great, you couldn't ask for anything more.
Smolinski had a good rip at that one. He fouls it into the upper deck. 1-1 the count. Smolinski starting in left field. Coco's getting the night off. Sogard, Fold, Vogt, Muncy. There's your bench for the A's tonight. That one hit to right field and hit pretty well. Smith goes back, but he's going to get there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. A run on 2 hits for the Athletics. So bottom of the first, Jesse Chavez already has a run. 1-0 A's. set to bat here in the bottom of the first, facing the right-hander Jesse Chavez. So Jesse will be looking for his 8th win of the year. And you mentioned it in our open, Ray. For Jesse, his 23rd start this year, 21 starts last year, and I think he is just dying to finish strong. I mean, I think it's so important for him.
I think he's just dying to finish.
Just prove to people that I can do this for 30 starts and 185 innings or whatever it total may be.
Well, as he told us after the game on Wednesday when he beat the Dodgers, how important it was for him confidence-wise to get the chance to pitch the 8th inning. And so for him personally to get the job done, striking out the guy who hit the 2-run home run off him, but also, as he said, for Bob Melvin to show confidence in him to leave him in and get the job done, which he did.
First pitch to Tel Marte is in for a strike.
And he's so versatile right now in the A's rotation, but boy, there's so many things Jesse Chavez could do, but he's doing this so well.
Jumps ahead of Marte 0-2. A couple of starts this year for Jesse Chavez against the Mariners, and a couple of losses. He's never beat Seattle. 3 starts last year against him, 2 starts this year. So maybe tonight's the night he gets that first win.
As always, out on the bench during batting practice and the stretch, just kind of getting acclimated to the environment, the conditions.
And that went down the right field line and headed for the corner. And Marte's got good speed. He's going to hit the bag at second, and he'll stop there. So a leadoff double for Ketel Marte, and that young man has been impressive. Marte, the leadoff hitter. Rest of the lineup for Seattle has Seager batting second, then Cruz, Cano, Smith, Jackson, Morrison, Miller, and Zunino.
And Jesse Chavez, a curveball on 0-2 that missed, came back with a pitch inside, probably not where he wanted it. Marte able to pull the ball, but 27th game for Jesse. Of course, those early 4 appearances out of the bullpen, setting up in the changeup grip, changeup split that he throws for a changeup.
First pitch to Seager, fastball away. So there's the 5 career starts versus Seattle. ERA at 4.75. Two starts this year. On May 10th here, he gave up 4 earned runs in 6 2/3 innings, and then on July 3rd in Oakland, he gave up 4 earned runs in 6 1/3. Seager is a good pitch. A little tailing action. Grabs the outside corner. 2-1.
We're always impressed with Jesse Chavez, how he makes in-game adjustments, and especially in the early part of the game, if he feels his stuff is not where he'd like it to be.
This one's hit high in the air, shallow left. Smolinski is under it. He's got it. And Seager cannot get anybody over, and that's out number 1. Defensively, A's have Smolinski left, Burns in center, Reddick in right, Valencia, Simeon, Laurie, and Canna on the infield with Fegley doing the catching.
It's amazing how many times you see a pitcher with the hitter attempting to pull the ball to the right side. Jesse threw Seager a great changeup, and he went after it and lofted it to left field. So he got the job done. Chavi did, not so much Seager. Power coming up in both Cruz and Cano, but much different runner at second versus at third. The infield would have been playing back.
Cruz hits one foul right field side. Cruz was quiet last night. He was 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run. Struck out a couple of times. Good numbers in his career against Jesse Chavez, so watch that. 5 for 11 with 2 homers and a double. Keep an eye on Marte. Yeah. He's aggressive. We know that.
And that's why Jesse probably did the inside move on his own, just to try to keep him close.
Just a little outside. 1-1 Cruz with Cano to follow.
Anytime we talk about somebody stealing a base, you always think about Josh Phegley, and he kind of invites guys to try to run. He has any kind of a chance with his cannon. He can throw anybody out.
And now it's 1-2. Cruz did not like the call from Jim Reynolds.
Perfectly thrown outside corner, and say what you want. He wants the pitch elevated on the outside part of the plate so he could drive it even to right field, but that's a perfect pitch.
And a curveball, and Cruz strikes out. 2-1.
Well, nailed the outside corner with a fastball, and then a curveball, threw it exactly the same area, but then broke sharply away. And Cruz, hey, he is powerful, but he has some holes, and that's one in the outside part of the plate, especially the way he opens up. Great pitch, great pitches by Jesse.
So now he's got to get Cano.
Cano says hello to everybody. See, they tapped Phegley, tapped Jim Reynolds, pointed the A's dugout, said hello to everybody. It's like Brett Laurie.
And first pitch strike to Cano. A couple of hits last night for Robinson Cano. Scored a run, knocked in a run.
He did admit, though, on the overthrow from Trumbo coming in. He said he assumed it was going to be caught by Marte. It was not. It was thrown over Marte's head and got past Cano.
And he bounces this one toward Laurie, and Jesse Chavez gives off the lead-off double, nothing else for the Mariners. A's lead 1-0 after 1.
Now, and after last night's game, you ought to get on board early with 2016 priority seating and choose your exact seating location for next season. The A's offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and much, much more. For more information, and we encourage you to call 510-6-RATE-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016. Baseball, just great game. Come out, watch baseball, and eat nachos. Good food across the beach. Some great food. I mean, what's wrong with?
You should do like a commercial for baseball. That
was
good. It sounded like James Earl Jones.
But you think about fans that can come to a ball game and just do nothing but eat. you know, watch baseball and eat. Just check out all the different
off-season commercial work for Ray Fosse. Baseball and food. That one is belted left field. Miller's back near the wall, and he cannot get it. Bounces off the wall, and Billy Butler's going to have a double.
And Billy's running to first base thinking that's going to be caught. I'm going to hit the ball as far as I can, left center, and it's going to be run down by Miller, but Billy Butler got into the 0-2 fastball that missed. Got a chance to extend the arms. And Miller, more of an infielder, playing left field like Dustin Ackley did before he was traded to the Yankees, but this one left center. A little bit of a different route for him, banged up against the wall. If he'd gone straight after it, probably would have caught it. But he took a little zigzag route. Maybe he wants to be a football player like next door or something. But good swing by Billy Butler. This time is rewarded with a double.
Number 22, doubles column, and now Reddick steps in. So the leadoff man on again for the A's. Reddick had a big night last night. A home run. He knocked in 3. We've talked a lot about Reddick's batting average against left-handed pitching. And listen, early in the year he was struggling. Overall, it's .227, but Ray, he has 16 hits in his last 47 at bats against left-handed pitching, and you know what? Give him another hit and give him an RBI, and he's going to try for 2, and he's going to make it with a double. And that one trickles away into shallow center field. But I guess the point is we talked a lot about his struggles against left-handed pitching early in the year. We need to make sure that people know how far he has come this year hitting lefties.
And that's a great example there. He knows he has a leadoff double at second base. Look how he extends way out, almost out of the strike zone, and rakes a pitch away from him down the first base line past Morrison, good first baseman, and then tests the arm of Seth Smith, who's got a good one, all the way into second base with a headlong dive and another double. But his approach was outstanding, trying to give himself up to get the run to third base, and he gets himself to second and an RBI. Good at bat. Look how far he has to extend out. Look at that. The pitch is outside, and you know, last night he hit a home run or a pitch down and in from the lefty, Rollins. This time goes outside. Wow.
Highest batting average versus outside pitches. That's very interesting.
Is there anything that's not available? I've never heard. How did it know if it's outside? But that's pretty impressive.
But I think part of that is we've seen him hit a lot of balls to left field.
Exactly. And especially 2 strikes. But you know, last night when he threw Marte out at second base in the 4th inning, the last hit, actually the Mariners would get in the game. Bullpen did a great job. But he baited him. He baited Marte, kind of went after a little bit slowly, trying to tease him a little bit.
Reddick got a good read, and he will go to third, and he'll be at third with nobody out. It's a wild pitch.
Sedano usually very good, and this time good enough that he blocked the ball, but it hit hard in front of him and far enough away with Reddick able to get to third base. Now the infield will come in with a couple of strikes on Semien.
And he belts one to left center. That's hit well, and that baby's gone, and the A's lead 4-0 here in the 2nd inning. Long home run for Semien.
Last home run from Marcus Semien came after the intentional walk to Eric Sogard, and this time with a 2-strike pitch. He gets the tunnel. He did not play the last 2 games, and Marcus Semien got a fastball. He did not miss it. So Jesse Chavez, who is not really the recipient of a lot of run support, gets it tonight, at least to start this game with 4 runs in the first 2 innings.
So here's Burns. Still nobody out here in the 2nd inning. 4 of his 11 home runs this year have been against the Seattle Mariners. And that's a base hit to right field by Burns. 4 straight hits for the A's here in the 2nd inning. 2 doubles, homer, and now a single.
Just a center cut fastball from Montgomery, and Marcus Semien right down the middle was the pitch. And Marcus Semien with 2 strikes. Great swing. And at that time, really not even thinking about anything but a fly ball to get the runner in from third. Changed the approach from the beginning of the bat to the end, and he not only got him in, but got himself in. Great swing. Miller shut it down. He knew he had no chance, and it was going to be a home run. And remember, tomorrow's starting pitcher for the Mariners, a guy named Felix Hernandez, one of the best in the game. Marcus Semien got him twice. That's 2 of the now 4 home runs hit against the Mariners.
So the bullpen up here in the second inning. Who pitched last night gets up. So that's the guy tomorrow.
Kings Court will be in session down the left field line tomorrow in the series finale.
So here's Canna, and Canna takes an off-speed pitch high. 6 hits already in the game for the A's. They had 15 last night. And now it's 2-0. Montgomery not sharp at all. And he's really getting himself in trouble by falling behind the hitters.
Iwakuma just the opposite last night in the first 4 innings. Gave up just 1 hit. Was dealing with a good fastball with the excellent split finger fastball. Then it fell apart for him. But Montgomery tonight falling apart in the first inning. Former Mariners manager Bob Melvin looking on and going to be happy with the win last night. Happy for this start to this evening.
Our Geico quote of the game comes from Bob Melvin, and he talks about Mark Canha. Quote, "We're finding out a lot about Mark Canha right now. He's really making a name for himself. Indeed, getting a chance to play every day, and it's going to be that way for the rest of the year."
See, Melvin went to Cal. Canha went to Cal.
Yep.
The Geico quote, I mean, he deserves it because he's played well.
Drives this one to right field, but Smith is there, and Smith has it. That's the first out of the inning. So Canha is 0 for 2, and here's Laurie. Laurie grounded out to third in the first inning. And the first pitch is a fastball in for a strike. Here's some of the numbers recently for Canha. 15 for 31 covering his last 8 games. 10 RBIs. And there's another hit to right field. Burns will round second. He'll go to third, and he'll make it standing up. First and third, 1 out. 5 hits in the inning.
Billy Burns almost looked like he's going to stop at second, and then maybe he was just going to coast in the third. So a great opposite field hit, inside out swing by Brett Laurie. Just an opposite field hit again, and that's impressive. Billy Burns is kind of coasting and said, "Oh, let's turn on the afterburners." He was going to go for 3 last night. Marvin McClendon's going to go to the mound now, but Billy Burns last night with Ron Washington. Sogard stopped at third. Burns was on his way to third. They had to stop at second.
So we have an early pitching change tonight. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Mike Montgomery knocked out here in the second inning.
Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So the A's swinging the lumber again. Coming out quickly, already 4-0, and they got runners at the corners here in the second. Forcing the Mariners to go to the bullpen. It's going to be Edgar Olmos, who we saw last night, through 17 pitches. He was one of 4 relievers used last night, and he's back out there probably quite a bit quicker than he thought he would be.
I think he's one of the two. He and Rasmussen back-to-back last night, very similar in the styles of pitching, and the same as Montgomery, the starter tonight. Exact same pitches, velocity on the fastball, curveball, slider, changeups. So we're really not throwing somebody different, maybe just looking for innings.
Yeah, at this point, it may just be looking for innings. So 1-0 to Valencia, who walked in the first inning. Burns at third, Laurie at first. And it's in the dirt. And again, A's hitter ahead in the count. 4 runs and 7 hits for the Athletics. Time of possession is well in the A's favor here at the Kilmer.
Just so great for a starting pitcher, any pitcher, but here's a Jesse Chavez who's not really received a lot of run support.
It's worth sitting in the dugout for.
Absolutely. And he starts sitting in the dugout at about 4:45.
Yeah,
whenever the A's are getting ready to stretch, he is there getting ready, getting himself ready.
Valencia hits one high in the air to left field. Miller goes back. He's under it. He's got it. Burns will tag. Burns will hustle in, and it's 5-0 on the sacrifice fly by Valencia. So another good at bat by the A's, and we've seen a whole bunch of good at bats already in this game.
A 2-0 fastball, a hitter's delight to get the pitch, and almost hit it out, but got the job done with a fly ball. He was watching Miller, thinking that maybe it had a chance to drift into the A's bullpen, but did not. But did get the job done.
And here's Fegley. Fegley pops it up. Morrison near the seats, and he's got just enough room. And the side is retired, but the A's score 4 times. So as we head to the bottom of the second, Marcus Semien with a home run, and the A's swinging it again. They lead 5-0. fan photo. Use hashtag CSNCA DataStrong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile.
Well, Mike Bird's been busy. That's a day shot, so you know he got him in the daytime. He got it at nighttime last night. Same boat, different time of the day.
That's right. He's everywhere.
Mike Bird. Oh. Bird, he can do it all. Get the cotton candy look.
Seth Smith to lead it off. A's leading 5-0.
Is the A's and Jesse Chavez with 5 runs and just keep pitching same way.
Seth Smith fouls it left side. Smith hitting .252, 10 home runs and 31 RBIs.
.40 pitches for Mike Montgomery. He threw more than that in the bullpen to come in.
Yes, he did.
And he throws an inning in the third, 40 pitches, and early shower. It sounds like he's been doing a lot of that lately.
2-2 now to Smith. Austin Jackson to follow, and then Logan Morrison here in the bottom of the second inning. Full count. Chavez gave up a leadoff double to Marte in the first, but he stayed there. Mariners never moved him off second base.
And that was big for Jesse and the A's to leave him stranded at second base after scoring 1 in the top of the first, and then added 4 more.
And that one was ripped toward right field. Reddick on the move, and Reddick cannot quite get it. Goes to the base of the wall in right center, and Seth Smith with a leadoff double. Reddick may have got a little bit of glove on it.
Yes, he did. And remarkably, he was able to do it when you see where he's playing, and the ball was headed into right center. Great angle going after the ball, unlike what Miller tried to do on the ball that was hit by Billy Butler. Reddick went directly towards the ball, jumped up, and it hit off the tip of his glove. That would have been a great play if he'd come up with it.
So here's Austin Jackson. Jackson goes the other way. Well, foul into the second level. .259 for Jackson, 7 home runs, 34 RBIs. He was 1 for 4 last night, had a base hit. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
He's pulling off a little bit as well.
Yep.
And on the cut fastball that Jesse throws a lot, might have been one of them that he just opened up enough.
Jackson's always been a guy who strikes out a lot. He struck out 103 times so far this year in 101 games.
Well, the difference about 6 weeks. You mentioned the July 5th game Montgomery pitched. It was against Chris Bassett. Bassett folds home run 1-0. It was Jackson who got a 2-out 2-run single, and that's after Bassett hit Cano with a 2-strike breaking ball. Hit him in the ankle. Cruz with a double, and then Jackson a 2-run single. That was it for the game. 2-1. Mariners won, but that was then. Tonight's much different for Mike Montgomery. Just 40 pitches, an inning and a third. 5 runs on the board.
So another 1-2 to Austin Jackson. Swinging right at him with a fastball, and Jackson swung through it.
I just wonder if Lloyd McClendon is looking for some situational baseball. And Jackson might have been trying to hit the ball to the right side, but big swing with 2 strikes. Very, very late on the swing and with no contact. Seager in a flying ball to left field, couldn't advance a runner, and Jackson a strikeout, no help there.
I think he was trying to hit it to right field, but still a big swing.
Too big.
Yeah.
Instead of staying inside, I mean, the pitch was there for him to hit the right field.
I mean, that's 2 innings in a row now where the Mariners have got a leadoff double. And the next batter, whoever it may be, has not had a productive out. A little bit inside to Logan Morrison.
But as I mentioned about the manager Lloyd McClendon and Jack Sorensic, general manager, do they want to see guys attempting to play situational baseball? You got 5 weeks of baseball left, and they're evaluating players as well. Now, granted, players want to put up numbers. They've got the job done, but it's with 2 outs now. But if you're losing and you're playing, you put up numbers, then you're helping yourself as far as the contract is concerned. But those guys there, bench coach, manager, they want to see what hitters can do in close games and get the job done. Advancing a runner to third base, less than 2 outs. And figuring early in the game, they are going to be runs that if you make contact, you get them in. Remember, Lloyd McClendon was a hitting coach for Jim Leyland in Detroit. So while he's a manager here, he still knows hitting.
Miller grounds it. Simeon has it. Throws in time and a leadoff double, but nothing else again for the Mariners. 3rd inning coming up. It's the A's 5 and the Mariners nothing. Kelly Moore Paints, the Painter's Paint Store. It's Mount Rainier off in the distance. And the A's leading 5-0 over the Mariners, and it's just the top of the 3rd. Last 2 games, 19 runs and 26 hits for the Athletics. 5 runs, 7 hits already tonight. So just like that, an offensive explosion for the A's. Smolinski, Butler, and Reddick here in the 3rd inning against the reliever Edgar Olmos. That pop-up foul.
Think back to Toronto when Felix Dubron came in and relieved Aaron Brooks, pitched 6 1/3 innings, 95 pitches, and like you said, almost maybe Aaron is looking for him to do the same thing tonight. Get a lot of innings, throw a lot of pitches, and sacrifice himself for any future work next few days anyway. This thing for a manager and pitching coach to have the starter come out so early, second inning tonight. DeBront last night came out after 2 after getting hit on the right foot in the first inning. He did pitch the second, but came out.
Said he's ready to go.
Yep.
One and 2 to Smolinski. And that one called ball. This is DeBront last night. Right foot.
He was saying tonight that the ball hit him on the side of the foot, but the pain was more on the top of the foot. And that's why he started limping. And Nick is kind of feeling on the left side, but the pain was more towards the middle. And he very smartly came out after just 2 innings. You start limping and favoring the foot when you're landing. It can affect your arm, your shoulder. Put himself in the mix in rotation, at least this time of the year, the rest of the year.
Full count now to Smolinski, who hit a fly ball to right field that ended the first inning. Seager knocks it down, picks it up, throws, not in time. So another hit for the A's. They now have 8.
It's amazing how hits are some places and other places they're errors. I've seen that been called an error before. Got a glove on it, missed it, but it was immediately called a base hit. Good one for Smolinski. Good hustle, just barely beat it out.
So here's Butler, who started the second inning with a leadoff double and scored. Billy Butler, that was his first hit in the series. Way outside, and it's 2-0. Said that a lot already tonight. 2-0.
You know, as a catcher, and you talk to catchers who, in my opinion, they're very good. But you start catching pitchers at this level, you expect them, when you call a pitch, to be close to the target. When you're having to start to jump out from behind home plate, that's not good for a catcher, because you start jumping for the ball, reaching for the ball, instead of let it come to you.
Missed again, 3-0. It's got to be frustrating, too.
Very.
It's a 4-pitch walk, 2 on, nobody out here in the third. Last year, the Mariners had the best ERA in the American League, 3.17, second best in all of baseball. And this year, their ERA is 4.33 as a team. It's 12th in the American League. You don't see a drop of more than a run in an ERA very often from one year to the next. That's a huge drop.
And the bullpen has contributed
Yep.
big time, man. That's why there have been so many different pitchers now pitching out of the bullpen of the Mariners.
It's 1-1 to Reddick, who had an RBI double in the second. He scored a run. So Reddick now with 65 RBIs. It's this one high to right field. Smith going back, and he's going to have enough room, and he makes the catch. Smolinski tags, he'll head to third, so base running by Smolinski.
Well, last night, Josh Reddick just a routine ground ball to Montero in the 7-run 5th inning, and look what happens because he ran hard. Reached for it and started sprinting. Montero decided I'll take it myself, and he missed the bag, and then Canna, with Montero looking at the first base umpire to get the call. Canna rounded third and made it safely. Josh Reddick with an infield hit and a run batted in, and he just missed a 3-run home run on a hanging breaking ball.
So here's Simeon. Simeon, a 2-run homer in the 2nd inning. That one right there for a strike. Simeon now 11 home runs, 32 RBIs. 2 count. Simeon's hit over 300 for the month of August, so that's good to see.
And after a 2-run home run, here's a run waiting to be driven in, and he's got a chance.
Now 3 pitches, he strikes out. So 2 outs here in the 3rd inning.
Fastball out of the strike zone away, and then curveball down and in. And no wasting any time by almost on this one. Anzanino went right after him with a breaking ball.
So Burns hits for the 3rd time. And this is just the 3rd inning. He has singled twice. He has scored twice. First pitch strike. Almost just deciding, you know what? It's a lot easier to throw first pitch strikes. And now it's 0-2.
He might be thinking like a lot of pitchers that come in and are long men. I might as well just pitch great because I might be shipped out anyway if they can't use me for a couple of days. We've seen that happen too often, especially if you have options.
Shallow left center. Jackson uses his great speed and makes the running catch. Side retired. So the A's do not score. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. It'll be Zunino, Marte, and Seager. A's leading 5-0.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand and True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night, every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Which one of those yachts is yours? Okay.
Just sold it.
Did you?
Yeah. Fighting for it just a little bit.
He didn't see it.
Completely dark here just yet.
He did not see it. It looked like Canna was under it, and Laurie I didn't see it. But he stayed with it, but I got it, and then where is it? Be careful what you call for. They may tell you to catch it, and then can't
calling
find
for
it
and then not seeing it. That's scary. So here's the top of the order, Ketel Marte, who doubled first at bat. Seventh lowest run support in the American League, but it's getting better.
Yeah, it's a big strikeout by Jimmy Rollins last Wednesday. Then his club scored him runs in the 8th inning. Made it a lot easier for the closer, Pomeranz, to come in and close it.
Valencia is under. He's got it, and that's the second out. So 5 in a row retired by Jesse Chavez. He's allowed a couple of hits, a couple of doubles, a couple of strikeouts in the early going. Coming off that 8-inning start against the Dodgers, where he threw a career high 116 pitches. But he looked strong right up until the end with that strikeout that you're talking about. Pitch there.
Yeah, they really got Jimmy Rollins on 3 pitches, finished him off with an 0-2 curveball. This was a big at bat for Jesse, not so much for Seager, who lofted one to left field, did not advance a run in the first inning. That might have made a big difference in this game. Had done that, it'd have been a huge difference.
3 up, 3 down inning for Jesse Chavez, and we're moving to the 4th. Canada's going to lead it off. The A's 5 and the Mariners nothing. Heritage events. If this sounds like fun to you, round up your posse and head to Orrington. 5-0 A's lead, top of the 4th inning. A's looking for their 3rd consecutive win. Facing the reliever Edgar Olmos. Mike Montgomery, the starting pitcher, knocked out in the 2nd inning. Canna has grounded out, and he is at a fly ball to right field, and that will hit hard but foul. So you hope everybody's okay. A lot of people getting hurt in the stands lately. That's unfortunate.
It's too bad.
pitch there, and it's 0-2. More to follow, then Valencia here in the top of the 4th inning.
It's the same bat he brought out last night after breaking the bat. Got a new one. That's it. Hit a double down the left field line in the 7-run 5th inning. So he's staying with it tonight.
Reaches for that one, drives it toward right center, hit pretty well. Smith on the move, and Smith will get there, and he makes the catch. That shows how strong Marcano is. He kind of reached for that, and he still hit it to deep right center field.
380 to the corner in that area, and it carried all the way to that area at the warning track. And you're right, out on the front foot, just a great follow through. And I say, except for Yankee Stadium and here, and maybe Kansas City, it's a home run in American League.
First pitch to Murray. It's bounced towards short. Scooped up by Marte. Throws low. Dug out by Morrison, 2 away. And that'll bring up Danny Valencia.
Max Muncy in the middle there talking to Chris Bassett. Back with the ball club. Called up just in time for his birthday. His 25th birthday today. And to his left, Stephen Vogt, whose father Randy is celebrating birthday number 60. See, he just told him right there. He's celebrating number 60. So Vogt wanted to wish a happy birthday to his father Randy, who is 60 today. I don't know if he's supposed to tell me the age, but he did. And Max Muncy, 25 today. And Max's parents are here, and I said, well, that's convenient. He said the team was in Reno. They were going to be coming to Tacoma. So his parents were going to be coming here for his birthday. And to see their other son, who lives in Seattle, who has a child who's a grandson. So I said, who did they really come for? He said, my brother and his child.
It's a good combination, though. And the runner's going to be safe as Morrison was pulled off the bag. Although Morrison says, I got him on the tag. The umpire called him safe. So Lloyd McClendon will check on his replay folks. Oof. I don't know what Morrison is doing.
I don't either. What is he thinking? He caught the ball, and his foot was off the bag, and for him to say he tagged him, this is not close. And he immediately pointed. That's where it's hard for a manager, because he pointed and he wanted to challenge, and you lose your challenge on a play like that where you're not even close to tagging the guy. It's a good hustle again by an ace player. Turns into a base hit. Yes, was it? Well, 9 is on the board for hits, Cap, so I guess that was a hit. They have not announced it in-house.
Well, they put it up there already, but usually there's some type of announcement made. So watch Morrison. I mean, it's usually a defensive player. Well, his glove touched Valencia, but it touched Valencia before he caught the ball.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he was possibly thinking. Cano picks it up, steps on the bag, and it's all said and done. It doesn't matter. A strand a runner, and we're going to the bottom of the 4th. Still 5-0 Athletics. knocked around some, but he was picked up by Mahika 2 innings, Venditti 2 innings, and then Drew Pomeranz through an inning. No hits allowed from those 3 guys. And those 3 were the story in that ball game. And they retired the final 16 Mariner hitters in that game. Had a nice post-game chat with Pat Venditti. His post-game line.
And he was interviewed prior to the game tonight. Somebody on the TV side for the Mariners asking him about that funny glove that he has. He said, "What does that look like?" He said, "It has 2 thumbs."
It's got 2 thumbs.
It's a good story, but even better story. 6 up, 6 down last night.
First pitch to Nelson Cruz in first strike. 6 in a row retired by Jesse Chavez. He's given up 2 hits, so he's cruising along with a 5-0 lead. I don't know why, though. For some reason, after last night, I just don't feel comfortable with a 5-0 lead. Because that was just the strangest thing last night. Yeah. And that one is blasted left center and deep and gone. Nelson Cruz with his 38th home run of the year. So the major league leader in home runs tacks on another one.
Well, now 5-1. That's okay if the A's can add on, but that off-speed pitch really right in the wheelhouse of Nelson Cruz. Line drive sounded great off the bat, and remember the last at bat, the first one, headed the fastball outside, then finished him off with a good curveball. This time, tried to fool him with an off-speed pitch inner part of the plate, and it made a mistake, and it cost him.
So here's Robinson Cano. Cano disagrees with Jim Reynolds. 1-1. Cano bounced out to the second baseman. There's another strike. It's 0-2. Most August home runs. Nelson Cruz. Those are Mariners history. He's got a shot. Cano swings and misses. And he probably has a few choice words with Jim Reynolds as he strikes out.
Two perfect pitches, evidently, and then one way off the plate. Kind of a excuse me swing started to get a better swing, and not even close on that one.
Sixth straight game allowing a home run for Jesse Chavez. He did not allow a lot early, but more lately. Seth Smith takes a strike.
And the thing he did with Seth Smith his first at bat when he had the leadoff double in the second, got him to 3-2, and with a 5-run lead he challenged him, which was not a bad idea. And Smitty hit the ball hard to right center for the double.
Good curve, and it's 0-2. Austin Jackson will be next.
There is a reason that if you have a lead, you pitch it, you continue to pitch like it's a low scoring game, because it can creep up on you quickly with some runs.
Simeon in front of Laurie, and that's out number 2. Simeon with the shift on came over in front of Laurie. So with 2 outs, Austin Jackson steps in.
Simeon did not play the last 2 games. We've seen him get a game off, but the last 2 he did not play.
Right in there, first strike.
But tonight, of course, he's played a lot this season and maybe getting back-to-back games off. Been working still a lot on his defense.
Burns hustling back. Burns is going to watch this one sail over his head. Austin Jackson with the 2-out double. a home run and a double for the Mariners here in the 4th inning.
And loud sounding hits. That one he pulled off, same swing he had in his first at bat when he struck out. But this one made contact and maybe just timed the fastball a little bit better this time when he did not in his first at bat.
So here's Logan Morrison. Mariners trying to climb back into the game. And there's a shot headed for the right field corner, and it is gone. 2-run homer, and just like that, it's 5-3.
Take long to get out. Wow. Ball was blistered down the line. Baseball missed, and Logan Morrison, who had a walk-off earlier in the season against the A's, turned on a fastball, running hard, but just right at the bottom, right there. Hit the bottom of the foul pole, so it was hit so hard it could not hook enough to go foul. So really 3 rockets hit in this inning.
That is one of the hardest hit balls we've seen in a while. So the Mariners are back in the game, 5-3 in the 4th inning. It's 0-2 to Brad Miller. I think he hit it so hard it did not have time to hook a little bit, and it hit the foul pole. Little piece of Fegley, but he's okay. Miller grounded out to the shortstop in the 2nd inning. Playing left field tonight. We're used to seeing Brad Miller at shortstop. The Mariners kind of want to make him a super utility guy.
Well, Marte has changed that a lot. Dustin Ackley did the same thing. Was an infielder, moved in the outfield. Traded him to New York, shaved his beard, shaved his head. Different player, different person. On the disabled list now, and Miller, shortstop, had some problems, and now Marte has taken over.
Simeon handles the sharply hit ball and throws out Miller, side retired, but the Mariners get back in it. Couple of home runs, a solo shot by Cruz, a 2-run homer by Morrison, and we're on to the 5th. It's now 5-3. It looks familiar. It's a good friend, Dominic. He's made the trip to Seattle.
One of the MLB authenticators, and we see him at the Coliseum a lot. And decided to come up to Seattle, watch a couple of ball games. Oakland PD does a great job, and I would not want to mess with him. A's are well protected in this series here in Seattle. Wake up, Dom. Come on.
You want Dominic on your side. I have his cell phone number. That's all. I'm good. Yeah. He said, "Call me if you ever need anything."
That's a good number to have.
Speed dial.
That's a good number to have. That's right.
He's a good guy. Almost back out there. Now, was I seeing things right, or did somebody take 3 steps out of the bullpen and then turn around and go back? The Mariners had a reliever. The door was open and somebody ran through the door and then stopped on the warning track and turned around and went back.
Well, Lloyd McClendon was having a long conversation with Jim Reynolds, and maybe it was about that. But one of the main jobs for a manager is knowing when to take out your starter. And in this game, he took his starter out in the 2nd inning because he could see that the A's were scoring a lot of runs off of Mike Montgomery, which they did. 5 runs in an inning and a third. Lloyd McClendon made the move to go to Olmos, and he's done a very good job so far.
2 1/3 innings, and he's allowed his team to get back in it. It's 5-3. He threw 17 pitches last night, 38 so far tonight. Breaking ball, and Smolinski will stay in there and be ready to swing on this one.
Well, it must have come around the plate, according to Jim Reynolds.
Misses badly, and it's a leadoff walk.
And that reliever who took a couple of steps, he might be getting up and getting loose again.
I know, I saw that.
After 3 runs scored by the Mariners and Lloyd McClendon, a couple of home runs hit. Got to be thinking back in the game and maybe mix and match a bullpen like Bob Melvin did last night, with 4 relievers following Dubron.
Butler rolls over on that one, bounces it down near the camera line. Astros won tonight in New York, and they won big. Astros 15 and the Yankees 1. So Dallas Keuchel got his 15th win of the year. He becomes the first 15-game winner in the American League. And Smolinski just got back, and it was close.
Lloyd McClendon taking another look, and Smolinski, I think the hand was on the bag, looked like it, and that was, let's see, long time waiting. No, let's go. Let's play. Talk about the pace of the game, yet all of these times they're checking with the video coordinator about these close plays.
And that's a base hit to center field. Smolinski will round second and stay there. 2 on, nobody out.
Billy Butler with a perfect night.
Yep.
In fact, one of the things we're not seeing is diving. You know, infielders diving. And you've got a slow runner hitting the ball. Look at Marte. And again, you know, that's really just dive. And maybe you get a force at second. Maybe you get up and throw the runner out at first. And saw Cano last night on a ball that was hit to his right. This one's to the left of Marte. And, you know, there's some infielders just do not like to dive. And I think we might be seeing it. I mean, they get their uniforms clean. If they get them dirty, it doesn't matter.
As far as we know.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the game is over, they take them off and they're clean for the next day. So, I mean, they can get dirty.
You are correct. That one hit high and deep into the right field corner, and Smith has it. And if that ball did not look like, and Reddick is standing there, and that ball looked like it was headed foul, and it just came back fair. Reddick stood at home plate, and he can't believe it. Did you kind of see that as well?
I saw the same thing. I thought the ball was way to the right, and the way it got on front, and then all of a sudden it comes straight down in fair territory. So, well, I got another chance. It's going to be foul. Broke my bat, and we can get another one. And so, wait a minute, take a look. What?
How that happened, I don't know, but that ball was headed into the seats, foul territory, and it just moved right back into play.
And that's back-to-back innings that Reddick has done that back-to-back at bats. Now Simeon's got to get this runner in, because in a game that's now a 2-run game, the at-bats that Simeon had when he struck out with the runner at third, first and third, did not get him in. Smolinski there again, as he was in the 3rd inning. So exactly the same, except a base hit and a walk. This was a walk and a base hit. But still, runners at first and third. Smolinski, good job of tagging to get to third.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1 to Simeon. Reach for that one, and stays alive. So the count remains, the count 2-2 now. Two-run homer and a strikeout for Simeon. Here he needs to try to get a ball in the air. So now it's 3-2.
Well, it's a pitch he swung and missed. It's last at bat, 0-2. Similar slow curveball, tantalizingly slow, and I guess inside according to the umpire, but where did it cross the plate before Zanino caught it? That's a good break for Marcus Simeon.
Grounded. Marte Cano double play. So nice range there by the young shortstop, and Omas gets a big double play. So bottom of the 5th coming up. It's the A's 5, the Mariners 3.
Gray and Eric Sogard with your very own striped backpack presented by Chevron Techron Advantage Credit Card. On Monday, September the 7th, 15,000 fans will receive a stylish backpack. It's modeled after the preferred footwear of Sonny and Sogi. Get your Labor Day tickets now at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. Sogi not playing tonight. Sonny Gray not pitching tonight, but tomorrow with King Felix on the mound. Eric Sogard, I'm sure, will be in there wearing the backpack stirrup socks. September 7th we'll be here, Pep. I know you're saying it's a long way out, but it's coming.
just want my backpack, that's all. Zunino, first pitch swinging, drops a single into center field. Well, here come the Mariners again.
Well, location, and Mike Zunino towards the end of the bat, pitch a little bit away from him, but still able to shoot it in the center field.
And now the top of the order in Hotel Marte. Valencia in at third, and the first pitch is a little bit low. Quite a game tonight in Arlington, a big series. The Blue Jays and the Rangers. And the Rangers had a 5-4 lead in the top of the ninth inning, and with 2 outs, the Blue Jays scored twice to take the lead, and they won the game 6-5. Get the out at first as Chavez hustles to the bag and just beats Marte there. So now 1 out and a runner at second.
Mark Canha, we've talked about his hitting. That's a pretty good play. He could have gone to second and immediately decided, let's get the runner at first base, and Marte, who has the speed, and Mark Canha did not want to waste any time even looking to second base, fed Jesse Chavez perfectly to the bag. So while he has not been an accomplished first baseman, he's done a pretty good job there, and he's only going to get better.
The next month and a half, or next 5 weeks, whatever, is going to help Mark Canha a lot.
Absolutely.
Maybe as much at first base as in the batter's box. Here's Seager. Seager takes outside. So the Rangers lose, and that's a tough loss at home. The Blue Jays take over first place in the East. The Yankees are now the #1 wild card team. Center field, hit well. Burns going back, circling underneath it. He's got room. He makes the catch. Zunino heads to third, and a long out by Seager.
That's a great shot of Billy Burns catching the ball, but we've talked about the large outfielder's glove. He caught it right in the pocket, hard. I don't know if we get the close up to see exactly, but if you watch the ball go into the pocket, how it moves around a little bit, right? So just enough, hits hard right in the pocket, and then it goes up into the webbing. But that's why it's important, once it hits in the pocket, squeeze it, because it's going to go right up into that big webbing. That's a big glove. But it's bigger because of an outfielder, but you get it in the pocket where it's hard on your hand and it moves up. And make sure you route it into the webbing.
So big out to get here in Nelson Cruz, who has struck out and homer. Zunino at third, 2 outs. What a block by Fegley, saved a run. And that was not an easy one.
And they got a lot of skin, because you could hear the splat on that one, but that is great movement. Watch the movement on the breaking ball. See the right hand, and I think if you speed it up in real time, you're going to hear the right hand get hit, and that's what happened when he got the hand out to the side.
It's a true story brought to you by McDonald's. Most home runs the last 2 seasons. Nelson Cruz on top with 78. That includes his one tonight. 40 last year in Baltimore. 38 so far this year. Did he hold up? Yes, he did. So 3-1 the count. On deck is Robinson Cano.
And you do not have to give in to this guy, especially as hot as he is. Robinson Cano, major league hitter. See him drop the bat to make sure he didn't follow through. That's kind of a ploy for him.
3-1, he fouls it.
Change up from Jesse Chavez, and gone, no doubt, straight away left center field, and he was running hard, but it was on the line. He thought maybe it might hit off the wall. It was hit so hard, but did get out.
3-2 pitch is high, and he walked it. That's the first walk issued by Jesse Chavez. He has struck out 3. And now he's going to face Cano with runners on the corners. Cano has grounded out and he has struck out.
If he can paint the same pitch as he did in his last at bat, paint him to the outside corner, and might be a little bit different for Cano this time to go to the opposite field.
First pitch just a bit outside. Cano 2 for 6 in the series. Taps this one off of the glove. Lowry charges, tries to pick it up barehanded, can't do it, and a run comes in to score, and it's 5-4. Boy, that's frustrating because you really had 2 guys who had a chance to make the play.
Chavez, if he lets it go, might even been a force at second, gets barely off the glove. I think if Brett Lawrie uses his glove, he's got a better chance of throwing him out. Look, he had plenty of time, but he tried to barehand it like he does at third. And see, that ball was not hit that hard. It was going to go right to Lawrie, who had to change direction to go get the ball off the carom of Jesse Chavez, and just one of those that should have been an out.
Yep.
Jesse went after it there, but it's going after or towards second base. Lawrie changed the direction, but I don't know that he thought maybe the ball going off of Jesse's glove, that he had less time than he really did.
So 2 on, 2 out with a run in, and here's Seth Smith. So the Mariners have clawed back from the 5-0 deficit, and it's 5-4, and it's only the 5th inning. So Fernando Abad gets up. Smith has doubled, and he has grounded out. The first pitch is inside, not by much. Shift is on. Simeon playing right behind second base. And that one misses badly.
July the 3rd at the Coliseum, Jesse Chavez start, and fastball down and in. Seth Smith did not miss it. That was 1 of 2 hit against Jesse, and the other one's already hit one tonight. It was all the location on that one, and it's not exactly where he wanted it.
Pitch outside. Fegley fakes the throw to second. So now it's 3-0. Austin Jackson is the on-deck hitter.
Fegley came out. Simeon playing behind the runner at second base, and I think that was a real attempt to go through, but Simeon didn't move. He was getting a big lead off second.
Pitch is inside on 4 pitches. Seth Smith walks. So Jackson will hit with the bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch right down the middle, and Jackson takes it for a strike.
Glad he did, because that was better pitch than he hit to straightaway center for the double in his last at bat. Did strike out in his first at bat. Good fastballs from Jesse.
little high. See Chavez just get under it a little bit with his elbow.
72nd pitch coming up, and to your point, and Kurt Young knows 116 in his last appearance on Wednesday. Getting one extra day, but still, for Jesse Chavez, his 23rd start. Biggest out of the game right here that he's trying to get with the bases loaded, leading by 1. Morrison, the on-deck hitter, and this could be the last batter for Jesse regardless.
One pitch, and a fastball fouled straight back. So Chavez ahead in the count, 1-2. Stayed a bit inside.
That was a backup. That would have been great if it could have caught the corner. Great for Bob Miller and Jesse Chavez, but it did not break. It stayed off the plate inside. Did not break outside where it was supposed to, and didn't catch the corner inside.
2-2 pitch up the middle, base hit. 1 run scores. 2 runs are going to score, and the Mariners have taken the lead.
Turn of events from last night to tonight, and that's going to do it for Jesse. And 2 walks in the inning, 1 is scored, and I thought the walk to Cruz was not a bad one, and if the play had been made on Cano, could have been a different game. But Jesse trails in the game now after the Mariners 3 last inning and 3 this inning.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Three more times here in the 5th, and just like that, they have a 6-5 lead.
Look at the elevation of the fastball. A little bit away, but the fact that it was away from Austin Jackson, he was able to hit the ball up the middle. Might have been a high cutter, but it found the way, hole up the middle, big hole up the middle, and it was a play that, a ball that was hit, not much could be done about it. So the good news for the A's, well, the bad news, they've coughed up a 5-0 lead. The good news, it's only the 5th inning. But to see the Mariners come back after they were down 5-0, the A's were like that last night, and unlike what the Mariners did, the A's need to stop the bleeding tonight. They'll turn to Fernando Abad to try to do that.
So Abad will face Morrison, 2 on, 2 out, and the A's just trying to get back in the dugout. 5 runs, 10 hits for the A's, 6 runs, 8 hits for the Mariners. So 4 2/3 innings for Jesse Chavez, 8 hits. First pitch to Morrison. Fouled to the screen. Got a pitch to hit. Morrison a big hit in this game. A 2-out, 2-run homer in the 4th inning. It made the score at that time after the home run 5-3. It was the 13th home run of the year for Logan Morrison. And that one strike at the knee, so it's 0-2. Smith at second, Jackson at first. Good slider there, and Morrison strikes out on 3 pitches, but 3 runs for the Seattle Mariners. So as we head to the 6th inning, the A's now trail Seattle 6-5.
Fifth at the 6:05 p.m. game. Joined for the final fireworks show of the season that celebrates Green Day's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. East Bay natives and longtime A's fans will be in attendance for a special pregame presentation, followed by a postgame fireworks show set to the music of this iconic rock band. Fans are invited to watch the show from the field, but please note, space is limited. Final fireworks of the 2015 season. Good ones as always at the Coliseum, but that score is not good for the A's as they at one time led 5-0. Now trail 6-5, top the 6th. New pitcher.
New pitcher is Logan Kensing. Just called up from the minor leagues on Sunday. It had been 2 years since he was pitching in a big league game. I go back to June of 2013. He's made it back to the big leagues with the Mariners. And what a job by Edgar Olmos. 3 1/3 innings, did not allow a run. He may be the MVP for the Mariners right now. Right at it. Austin Jackson, who got a good break as he usually does. So Burns hit it hard, but into the glove of Jackson. So 1 away here in the top of the 6th. So 8 hits, 6 earned runs allowed for Jesse Chavez in that 4 2/3 inning. So the life of a starting pitcher. Now you got to wait 5 days to pitch again, especially after your team gave you a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, and for a pitcher does not get a lot of run support, that's hard for Jesse.
So 2-0 to Mark Canha. Canha has grounded out and hit a pair of fly balls to right field. So Canha 0 for 3 tonight. 2 for 8 in the series. In for a strike with a 2-0 breaking ball. I said 3 1/3 for Omis. It's 3 2/3.
Well, we're hoping that runner at third, 1 out. Innings 3 and 5 and could not score. And when you score 5 early and you do not add on, that's when it can come back to bite you. And so far tonight it has. It's kind of a semi swing from Mark Canha on a breaking ball again.
That's a fastball there, and Canha knew it. So Kensing gets his first strikeout, and that's out number 2 here in the 6th.
Fastball in after a couple of breaking balls outside, and pretty good pitches.
So with 2 outs, Laurie steps in. Outside with a fastball. Well, both managers again to the bullpen early. A's will have an off day Thursday. Well, that can help the situation a little bit. So 1 and 2.
It's in the life of a pitcher and life of a manager for Bob Melvin to have the lead, but he has said ever since he has managed this ball club that if you score early and you don't keep adding on, it gives the other team a chance to come back. His club did it last night after the Mariners scored 5 early, and so the A's come back and score 11 unanswered runs.
So 2 and 2 to Laurie. A couple of ground outs and a single for Laurie. Mariners have 3 right-handers, 4 left-handers in their bullpen. Wilhelmsen and Carson Smith are the other right-handers, along with Kensing. And a 3-2 pitch is inside. It's a 2-out walk.
Trying to throw him a slider, did nothing except back up.
So Valencia will step in. Angels beat the Tigers tonight 8-7. They hung on. So the Angels get a win, and they're now just a half game behind the second wild card team, the Rangers. It's going to be hard to keep track the rest of the year.
I'll leave it up to you. You do such a great job.
Tight race in that AL wild card. Valencia takes a strike. Albert Pujols hit a home run early in that game, his 34th of the year and his 554th of his career. So he is just one behind Manny Ramirez for 14th on the all-time home run list. Valencia fouls it, and the count is now 0-2. For the Angels, that's the start of a 9-game road trip, and they started with a win. They're in Detroit, Cleveland, and then Oakland. They're trying to turn it around. They had lost 4 in a row before their win tonight, the Angels. Slider. Valencia watches it go down and away. Twins beat the Rays 11-7, and all of a sudden the Twins have won 5 in a row. And they are just a half game behind the second wild card team. So both the Angels and the Twins pick up a game on the Rangers. Two to Valencia.
Kinsey looks like he can have a tough time throwing strikes, but when he throws a breaking ball behind in the count, which he seems to do quite well, it's a good pitch for him, but his fastball just overthrown it a bit. Fastball in as it did to right-hander Kevin.
Swinging 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Valencia strikes out. Hayes strand a runner. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Miller, Zunino, and Marte. 6-5. Seattle leads.
For the A's early, Marcus Semien, a 2-run home run and a 4-run second inning. A's 5-0, but here come the Mariners. Nelson Cruz, home run on a changeup left center. That would be a solo. Then a 2-run shot by Logan Morrison to right field off the foul pole. And then this was the big blow. Bases loaded. 2-run single up the middle by Austin Jackson, and that would give the Mariners 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. They lead 6-5 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Find out what's possible with AT&T. You can call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world.
So Brad Miller to lead it off. Abad stays in the game. So lefty on lefty. Miller has grounded out twice to the shortstop. Zunino to follow, and then the top of the order, Marte. Pitch to Miller is a good one from Abad. Right around the knees, first strike. And now it's 0-2. Day baseball tomorrow. Chris Bassett and Felix Hernandez, the pitching matchup. 12:40 first pitch. That'll be a simulcast, so you'll be able to see it right here on CSN California. Tune in for that.
Ken Corrick is back.
It's
first road trip for Ken. Jesse still on the bench looking on. And last night we talked about the A's scoring 10 of their 11 runs with 2 outs. Tonight 5 of the 6 by the Mariners with 2 outs. And that's always tough, and it's great when you could do that as a team, but it's even harder if you give those up, and that's what has happened tonight. But Jesse, the leadoff home run to Cruz in the 4th, that was that, and then Morrison with a 2-run home run. Jesse a leadoff single in the 5th, and ground ball to first, fly ball to center, and then he's out of the game. Good strikeout again.
I think the 2-out hit, it's one of the great momentum changers in baseball.
You're exactly right, and it's a killer. If you give them up, it's not very good. Good slider again from Abad to get another lefty. His bullpen trying to do what they did last night. They were spectacular. 16 consecutive batters retired. Only hit. Scribner gave up the hit to Marte. He's thrown out at second. The rest of the way is all A's bullpen.
Zunino got the 5th inning started. He dropped a single into center field. And this one's popped up, and I mean popped up. And Canna calls off Fegley, and Canna has it.
Canna was yelling, "I got it, I got it," and you could hear Fegley saying, "You take it, you take it." It's up too high, man. That's ball gets up that high. It gives the corner infielder plenty of time, even though playing back was Canna. Fegley saw it late, and he actually went after it. That's when you hear Canna all the way up here yelling that he had it, and made a good play as always. He doesn't panic, does he? I mean, he's cool, calm.
And that one hit well, left center field. Burns dives, and he cannot catch it. It bounces off the wall, and Marte ends up at third.
I thought he caught it.
I did too. What an effort by Billy Burns. And I thought he caught it.
I thought he caught it. Whenever he made the headlong dive and the ball disappeared, and the pitch hit well again by Marte. What a series he's had. And watch the play by Billy Burns. The ball disappears, but at the end you could see it bouncing up off the wall. Smolinski brought it back in, and no throw to third by Simeon. But there's the dive. This is how close he came. Man, he lays out, doesn't he? Good job backing up by Smolinski. Otherwise, that's an inside the park home run.
So it's a triple for Marte, who has a double and a triple tonight. And here is Seager. First pitch strike. So the first triple in the career of Ketel Marte. So he's been impressive in this series. Now has 5 hits.
He felt he did not hit it well enough to get out, so he's thinking at least 2, probably 3. And once the ball was dropped, or at least off the wall, he had an easy triple. It's always good for an outfielder to be able to leave his feet, try to make a play, knowing that you have backup. And Marte at shortstop for his play there, but Smolinski a good job backing up Billy Burns just in case he missed it, which he did. This is a big outfield.
0-2 to Seager, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, he shook off a whole bunch to go to the curveball, and you can only hope that he throws it hard. Because one of the things he has said, he being Abad, is Fernando Rodriguez gets loose. Abad wants to throw curved sliders hard to lefties.
And a good pitch there, and Seager strikes out. He's 0 for 4, and Marte is stranded at third. 7th inning coming up. Mariners 6, A's 5.
Oktoberfest. You can celebrate that with the A's on Friday, September the 4th, when the A's take on the Seattle Mariners. Oktoberfest-style beers will be available throughout the ballpark. Fans can enjoy German-themed entertainment and food. For tickets, you can visit athletics.com/Oktoberfest. These Mariners, the Coliseum, and good baseball, good Oktoberfest in honor of my partner in Wisconsin. Well, they have those a lot.
Yes, they do.
We're playing there. Hear that music in Milwaukee.
And the rumor is getting stronger and stronger, Ray, that the A's will be going to Milwaukee next year. Just, well, you know.
I figure that
you were a Brewer for a while.
Pete Vukovich, who is
right, he was
assistant to the GM here, was a Brewer.
Very popular.
Yeah. I asked him today. I said. He said it was Major League, the first Major League where he was starting that as the big bad hitter. He looked like a big bad everything.
And it's a swing, and on 3 pitches, Fegley is out. 1 out here in the 7th inning.
On a check swing, Fegley was hoping, but there was no hope from Paul Schreiber because that was too much of a swing.
So Vogt is going to hit for Smolinski. So Vogt had a good ball game last night. He was 3 for 5. Couple of doubles, couple of runs scored.
Adam Loberstein still trying to find out if back-to-back games getting 2 hits in the same inning is record. We think so. I've never seen it before.
Let's just make it a record.
Yeah.
So 0-1 to Vogt. Smolinski was 1 for 2 with a single and a walk while he was in there.
Stephen Vogt lives up in this area, Tumwater, Washington.
Yeah, I asked him, do you stay at home? He said no. He said the drive's about an hour and 10 minutes. He said it's just a little bit too long.
Too far, yeah.
If it was a little bit closer, he said he would.
Nice hotel in downtown Seattle where the club stays. Can't beat that. But I'm sure his father, Randy, who's celebrating his birthday today, has to be happy to see his son in a game, even though he didn't start.
Not a bad birthday present.
No. Out of the Central Valley, and They always come up to Oakland a lot, Southern California. You have to be very proud of their son, Stephen Vogt, who has been able to persevere, stay in a game, and make an all-star out of himself. Right now, trying to do something with an out, and A's down by a run. Right.
We found it. So he's in the record books. Just out in front a little bit. And Smith has it for out number 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. They have got it off the end of the bat.
Just enough off the end.
So Kensing's done a nice job after Olmos. Kensing an inning and 2/3. He's got 3 strikeouts as he faces Billy Butler, who's had a perfect night.
So what are we going to see? We're going to see Vogt to first, Canada left. I don't know. I mean, just thinking. Bob Melvin usually does not use a pinch hitter and just use him and use up 3 players.
Well, he may get another at bat out of Vogt.
Exactly.
In the game.
And the righties.
Butler a double, a walk, and a single, and he has scored a run.
And really, in today's world where you have so many relief pitchers and so few position players on the bench, you have to be able to manage your pinch hitting chores, and that means if you pinch hit somebody, try to keep them in the game.
A little high, and now it's 2-1 to Butler. Sam Fuld lacing up.
Sam Fuld might be getting loose to pinch run for Butler if he gets on, because Butler's been on 3 times tonight. Right now the A's down by a run, trying to at least get back to the point where they've tied the game and take it from there. This is the 7th and running out of time.
And a slider that is just a little bit low. Kensing was headed for the dugout, but Jim Reynolds brought him back to the mound.
I think this is clearly out of the strike zone, breaking down out of the zone, even though Sedino, he put that at 2 feet. That's really trying to help your pitcher.
And Kensing another breaking ball, and he misses badly. So 5 walks issued by Mariners pitchers. As the left-handed hitting Reddick. So Fuld will run for Butler. So we got a pitching change here in Seattle with the Mariners leading 6-5. A's batting here in the 7th inning. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. California is brought to you by Real Strong Redwood. Why Redwood? Visit realstrongredwood.com. A look at Safeco Field. Had a nice night here in Seattle. A's will finish the season here in Seattle. 3-game weekend set in October. October 2, 3, and 4. And that'll wrap it up.
Josh Reddick, a couple of pretty good swings against the left-hander almost. And now Carson Smith, the hard-throwing right-hander, is brought in to face him with Sam Fuld at first base, 2 outs. So 56th game for Carson Smith. You see the saves, 13 of 17 save opportunities. He's been successful. Maybe Reddick could hit his just a little bit farther this time.
So there is the pinch runner, Sam Fuld. First pitch, bounces it to Cano, who scoops it, flips to first, side retired. So Carson Smith throws one pitch, he gets Reddick, and that'll do it for the A's in the top of the 7th. 7th inning stretch coming up. The Mariners leading 6-5. The A's at one time led 5-0. But the Mariners with 3 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th have taken the lead. So out of the A's bullpen comes Fernando Rodriguez for appearance number 42. He's 3-1 with a 4.28 ERA, 50 strikeouts in 40 innings. And he will face Cruz, Cano, and Smith here in the 7th. So the changes for the A's. Mark Canha is now in left field, and Stephen Vogt is now at first base.
Well, it's great to have the versatility and the ability of players to play multiple positions, and that way you can pinch hit and not lose players. They just have to keep it close, and Fernando Rodriguez, after Fernando Abad did a great job, will try to do that.
Cruz takes a strike. Cruz has struck out, homered, and walked. He scored twice. He now has 38 home runs on the year, tops in the major leagues. .95 miles an hour from Rodriguez. So Fernando Abad goes an inning and a third, gives up a hit, no runs, and 3 strikeouts. Grounded to the shortstop, Simeon bounces away from him. He throws, and they still got him. Ball rolled quite a ways away from Simeon, but He hustled after it, and on a very close play, Cruz is called out.
And immediately to the phone they go. And great recovery by Marcus Semien, and it was bang bang. Stephen Vogt with the stretch. What do you think?
I think he's out.
So great recovery, and I thought initially Marcus would never throw. I thought he'd just miss it and pick it up, throw it back to pitcher, but great recovery and use his strong arm to get Cruz by a step.
So one away for Cano, who had a big hit in the 5th inning. Infield RBI single. And what it did is it kept the inning going. Not only it knocked in a run, it made it 5-4. Little flare. It's going to be a tough play, and it'll fall. And Cano's going to try for second, and the tag is not in time. Cano was able to keep that left hand on the bag, so it's a 1-out double.
A great effort and a great throw to second base again by Marcus Semien. Off balance throw and staying on the tag. That was good play by Laurie to keep the tag on Cano, but boy, that's hard with momentum to keep the hand on the bag. He was able to do it. Push it off.
So 30th double.
That's right.
Of the year for Robinson Cano, and you may be asking, why is that such a big deal? Well, it is kind of a big deal for Cano, and we're going to tell you why. Major League history, 11 consecutive seasons with 30 doubles. Only Stan Musial, Honus Wagner, and Tris Speaker have done that more times. So 11 straight years with at least 30 doubles for Robinson Cano, and he could very easily set that record. In fact, he probably will.
I think he will, because he's more of a doubles hitter now in this park than he is a home run hitter.
And even when he was hitting a lot of home runs with the Yankees, he was banging out doubles as well. Yeah. In fact, as I look, Ray, he had 6 seasons with the Yankees where he had more than 40 doubles, with as many as 48 in a season.
Well, coming into this series with that note at 29, you figured that it'd be rare for him to play 3 games and not get at least 1 double, and then happen to be with a bloop down the left field line.
So here's Austin Jackson, another chance for Jackson. He's had a big night. He's 2 for 3 with a single, a double, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. So he steps up with Cano at second, Smith after the intentional walk at first. Hits now for the Mariners, each team with 10 hits. There has not been an error in the game. Royals beat the Orioles 3-2. As the Orioles continue to struggle, they have now lost 6 games in a row. Just another ho-hum victory for the Kansas City Royals. Royals are now 77-48. 13-game lead in the Central.
That's called running away with it. Almost 30 games over 500.
It's sprinting away with it. 95 for Rodriguez. The Orioles are going in the opposite direction. They put J.J. Hardy on the disabled list.
His back had been bothering him.
Yeah, he did not look good when we saw him in Baltimore.
Yeah, even the A's were back there and dealing with a back issue.
One to the pitch, good swing by Jackson, fouls it to the screen. With the Astros win and the Rangers loss, the Astros now have a 4.5 game lead in the AL West. As we told you earlier, the Astros beat the Yankees 15-1, and Dallas Keuchel got his 15th win. Being held on. Laurie starts to cheat over there a little bit. Curveball hit in the air toward Burns. Burns makes the catch. Cano hustles back to tag him, but then decides to stay at second base. 2 away here in the 7th.
That was a hanging curve, but it was thrown hard, and that's the reason Jackson, who singled up the middle on a fastball to give the Mariners the lead, had what looked like a pretty good swing, but I think the curveball, because it was thrown as hard as it was, he couldn't do anything with it.
So now Rodriguez will try to get Logan Morrison. Both bullpens are quiet, so it looks like the Mariners try to get another inning out of Carson Smith, and he only threw 1 pitch in the 7th. So Wilhelmsen is their closer now.
Pretty good setup, man, at Carson Smith. He's got 13 or 17 saves, so he's familiar with that part of the game.
Smith has struggled lately closing games, so the Mariners, at least for the time being, have made that switch. So 1-1 to Morrison. And now 1-2.
Well, you have to think, Kat, with the arm of Fernando Rodriguez. He's got a very good arm. Good fastball. Of course, a couple of years removed from Tommy John surgery. I think just a matter of being able to be put in situations and get big outs. And for him, he's kind of created his own mess. But great curveball thrown hard. Good fastball with a lot of life. Can elevate it, which makes it very hard to hit. But he just needs to get through some of these tough jams. It's kind of been the bullpen of whole all season that, you know, just when you think somebody's doing a great job and going to fit into a nice role, then boom, boom, they go. And a lot of home runs against the A's bullpen this year. A.J. Ellis hit one off Fernando. He went about 47 innings without giving up one, and then a couple within a couple of appearances. Still a very good arm.
Slowly hit. Laurie has it. Fires to first, giving it Morrison for the out. So a couple of runners stranded by the Mariners. 8th inning coming up from Safeco Field. It's the Mariners 6 and the A's 5. By the new movie No Escape, in theaters everywhere, August 26th. That's tomorrow. Go check that out on the off day in Arizona.
Probably find a cool.
I was going to say a theater would probably have the air conditioning on and be nice and cool. A high of 112 is what I've seen.
Well, you saw it, you're going to feel it.
That's right. It's a dry heat.
Yeah.
0-2 to Sogard, who's pinch hitting for Simeon. And he grounds this one. Scooped up nicely by Morrison. Morrison's pretty good first baseman, and he scooped that one up. So Sogard, as a pinch hitter, is retired. One out here in the 8th inning. Sogard hitting for Simeon. And now to the top of the order. Logan Kensing, an inning and 2/3. So shutout baseball from the Mariners bullpen so far. His last hit was in the 5th inning. Bounced up the middle, and there's a hit. So Billy Burns is aboard. He's got 3 hits, 3 for 5.
Now they're going to see. Always think about the game in San Diego, and Billy Burns got on the 9th inning, stole second, and scored the winning run, and have to utilize his speed right now. And the Mariners are going to be thinking about it, and maybe Carson Smith will think about it, and Billy Burns could get into scoring position.
Let's see if the A's get some action going.
And Zunino's going to be thinking about it. And the important thing here too is that sometimes a hitter will get a pretty good pitch to hit because the threat of a stolen base from Billy Burns. Being Mark Canha, who swings the bat well, is a very hot hitter. Tonight, looking for his first hit. See, the outfield is about as deep as they could be. Okay,
yes, they are
playing nothing. I mean, they are deep. Warning track for Miller, close to the warning track in center field for Jackson, and Smith in right field extremely deep.
You know, I never mind seeing that if the team is hitting, because there's so much room out there now.
Yeah, you're right.
And you understand what the defense is trying to do. They're stop the double. But boy, it opens up a lot of base hit territory out there.
Well, a shot to right center, nobody can cut it off. And I would think any kind of shot to right center, the ball is going to carry to the wall. They're playing Canha slightly to pull in left center is center fielder Jackson. That was a pitch out. One was given away by Smith on a quick pitch on the pitch out. And a very quick throw to the plate on the 1-0.
So 1-1 to Mark Canha. Laurie to follow. He's trying to get something going here in the top of the 8th. Slider. That's Smith's pitch. He's kind of a 3/4 delivery, and he's got a sharp, tight slider.
Well, he falls off towards first base and then flips it in, and it is tight. It's hard, and in this case, right in the middle of the plate.
Burns back in time. Burns not going, and there's that slider, and Smith moved it out off the plate, and Canha chased it. 2 outs. That's the way you pitch, right?
That's it. That's the chase slider. Don't even make it close to the strike zone. And he just dropped a couple in the middle of the plate, and this one went off the plate, foot outside, Not even close to being a strike.
So here's Laurie. In the dirt. Scooped nicely by Zunino. Wilhelmsen starts to throw out in the Seattle bullpen. Burns goes. He runs. Zunino's throw sails into center field. Burns hops up, and he's going to go to third. And that's the tying run now at third. Stolen base, E2, and give Burns now 25 steals.
Really no chance for Zunino. He tried to hurriedly throw to second, sidearm, and way into the runner. And Billy Burns with a head first slide popped up quickly after seeing the ball going to center field. Don't look back. If you're straight stealing, you could care less with 2 outs what the hitter's going to be doing, and he's able to steal it easily. And it is with 2 outs, 2-0 count on Brett Laurie, but at least now with Laurie's hustle and the possibility of an infield hit, Burns getting to third base could help.
So 2-0. That slider misses. 3-0. Valencia would be next. Slider. What's his favorite pitch?
No, so if he threw it 3-0, would he throw it 3-1 and 3-2? Probably. And see how hard he throws it, depending on. He's pulling up and in, but also with the runner third, he may not throw it as hard and expect his catcher to be able to block it.
That almost seemed like too. If you're a pitcher, you get behind to a good hitter in Laurie, you may just want to start over with the new hitter.
Right. Exactly right. That's why I threw him a 3-0 slider.
Yep.
Figured he would be swinging 3-0, getting all those sliders, but threw him another one, and then the fastball almost hit him.
So it's up to Valencia, and Smith gets ahead with the slider there, and it's 0-1. Valencia, a walk, a sac fly, a single, and a strikeout. So 1 for 2. Hayes with a chance to tie it here in the 8th inning. And there it is again, and it's 0-2.
Well, off the plate, tease him a little bit. And he may do the same thing a little bit farther outside.
There, strike 3 call. So Valencia could not pull the trigger, and Smith gets a big strikeout, and the A's strand a pair. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the Mariners 6 and the A's 5. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 5-11-0 for the A's, 6-10-1 for the Mariners. Just about the opposite of last night. The Mariners led early, A's came back. And tonight the A's had a 5-0 lead after 3, but the Mariners have now taken the lead. Jesse Chavez could not get through the 5th inning. Semien with the homer, Cruz with the homer. And here come the Mariners in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rodriguez back out there. Stranded a couple of runners in the 7th. He'll face Miller, Zunino, and Marte. So Eric Sogard, who pinch hit for Semien, is now the shortstop. First pitch, a little bit outside to Miller. Swing and a miss, and a good fastball from Rodriguez.
That's a 93, but it seems like it's about 103. Just an easy delivery, and the ball jumps out of his hand.
Miller is 0 for 3, 2 groundouts and a strikeout tonight. Miller's got pretty good power. He got 9 home runs. The Mariners could give away a Brad Miller high striped sock backpack.
That's true.
He wears them all the time like that.
And Chris Archer.
I like the blue. They got a nice dark blue, light blue combination as well. And the pitch is outside, and it's a walk. So walk number 4 by A's pitchers.
That information.
Zunino, excuse me, right?
No, all the information that Bob Melvin's looking at. He's got the scouting reports. He's got the lineup, and Mike Caldrete, his bench coach, Kurt Young, is pitching coach, and he's letting everybody know possibility of a bunt.
And what he's looking at is probably the cliff notes as well, right? Yeah. The binders are in his office.
Yes.
Zunino showed bunt, although he may have just been doing that, try to fool the defense. The throw to first was probably to see what he was doing.
Exactly. I think he's going to bunt. I think they're trying to get another run.
Pulls the bat back. Begley wants to know if he went around. He said no, so he must have pulled the bat back in time.
The old theory is that if a team is willing to give up an out with a bunt, you let him bunt the ball. That means if he does successfully get the ball down, you get a runner at second base, but you do get one out. The Mariners really right now thinking about trying to get an insurance run.
Zunino squares early, and there's a strike. So he's not trying to fool anybody. He's squaring very early. He'll take a long look down at the third base coach, Rich Donnelly. He's done this before, Zunino.
Figure you're hitting under 200, you're going to be asked to sacrifice a few times.
Valencia cheating in. Zunino tonight is 1 for 3. He singled and scored in the 5th. picks it up, underhands to first. So Zunino does the job, does it well. Miller to second. So that'll bring up Ketel Marte. That's pretty good form right
That's
there.
great form. He actually squared around perfectly on that one, and you get to the point where it's a 1-on-1 count, and you want to make sure you're giving up yourself in a true sacrifice sense and getting the ball down, which he did perfectly. So what he does behind the plate, blocking balls, sacrificing like that, contributes, and of course led off the 3-run 5th inning with a base hit.
Pitch to Marte is looped to shallow left. Canha hustling in, and Canha's going to play it on a hop. So Marte going after the first pitch, drops one down the left field line for a single. So he's got 6 hits now in this series.
I think Marte is the Mariners version of Billy Butler, or Billy Burns, that is. Swinging to the first pitch almost every at bat, and this one lofts it to left field. Kurt Young going out to talk about defense. Mark Canha very wisely came up. I mean, he was close to it, but that was very similar last night to Mark Trumbo, who turned a single into a double, at least this time. We'll see what Marte does. He may be thinking about running, but at least the double play is a possibility.
Well, the big guys coming up. Jim Reynolds will break up the meeting. So Miller at third, Marte at first, and you got to keep an eye on Marte. You never know. So Seager is the hitter. Seager is 0 for 8 in the series. 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts.
He's looking for a 4-6-3 double play to get out of the inning.
And the first pitch down and away.
But the key in this inning is Marte, if he runs.
Yep.
And if he runs, then that takes really the possibility of a double play away from the Athletics. I think if he does run and it's a swing and miss or a ball, Fegley will be thrown through.
Nice block by Fegley. That one bounced well out in front of home plate.
Well, he did it with Cruz at the plate in the inning in which the Mariners scored the 3, and you would hope that at least the A's can benefit from that great block, because that kept the runner at third and first. They could have had a run in and another runner in score position. But Fegley, a great job of blocking the ball, which he seems to do often.
Mahika up. 30th pitch coming up by Rodriguez. And missed outside, 3-0.
Look out here. He has been known to swing 3-0. And Fernando has to make a quality pitch.
And he did swing 3-0, and he popped it up. And Sogard has it. Seager can't believe it.
Well, Cap, we've seen him do that before, and we've seen a lot more success when he has swung 3-0. And he had a perfect pitch. If he was a hotter hitter, this ball might have left the yard, but instead straight up. Same thing Correa did with the Houston Astros at the Coliseum. A 3-0 fastball hit it straight up.
I mean, that's his pitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
you can't be mad at him for swinging 3-0.
Exactly.
If you look where that ball was, it was down a little, in just a little. That's exactly where Seager likes it.
The only difference that you're 3-0 and you figure fastball, you may come a little bit out of your shoes more than you
Pull
would.
off just a little.
Yeah, just enough. But that's a big out. If not, an even bigger out in Cruz.
Cruz swings at a fastball and missed 95 miles an hour.
I remember he had a changeup for a home run. And power hitters a lot of times fool people, and pitchers especially, where they think you can fool them with off-speed pitches. They love that because they're so strong and they can wait back. Fastballs up around the letters, as that pitch was, usually very difficult for them to hit. Talked to Mark McGuire when played the Dodgers. Said, remember those high fastballs? He said, I could never catch up to. But they throw them off speed. He'd say it's perfect. That's the closer. He's looking for an extra run, as Boxberger did on the weekend at Tampa Bay. Boxberger got the extra run, almost gave it up.
Yeah, really, how many hitters in general can hit a high fastball?
Not many.
Very
Not
few.
many.
Let alone out of the ballpark.
Yeah, Evan Gaddis can go ahead high and hit it. You're right, Larry.
2-1 now.
But it's also the question of how many pitchers can throw the high fastball, throw it intentionally up in the zone.
Marte runs, and the ball is lined down the right field line just fine. Marte was on the move.
You know, that was not an intentional swing to right field by Cruz. He just did not get around on the fastball. And Marte on the run. And Fegley probably would have thrown out Marte if contact had not been made by Cruz. And I think he was just a little bit late. That's a 2-1 fastball that he was just a little late on a swing. If he can elevate a fastball, let him have it. He throws him a nasty curve, which he can throw that hard as well.
Let's see what Rodriguez throws to Cruz. 2-2. We go to first. So 35 pitches for Rodriguez. He did not pitch last night.
That was a curveball they gave. I don't know if he shook it off to go to the fastball.
And he got him with a high heater. So Rodriguez works hard, and he keeps the Mariners off the board in the 7th and off the board in the 8th. So last shot for the A's as we go to the 9th. 6-5 Seattle.
California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, home of the most to live sports. And by Black Bear Diner, feed your inner bear.
Here's tonight's Honda player of the game, Austin Jackson, who struck out his first time, came up with a double, and then this was the biggest hit of the night for him. And the Mariners, it would play 2 runs, giving the Mariners a 6-5 lead. As it stands right now, the A's trailing by 1 run. Austin Jackson with a 2-run single up the middle. And the Mariners 3-run 5th inning, that came with 2 outs, and then the strikeout to Morrison by Abad, but that was the big blow in the game.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change in Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog expert. So Tom Williamson comes in, taking over the closer duties. First pitch to Fegley is tapped up the first base line, picked up by Morrison, and he flips to Williamson. And 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Well, make sure you join us tomorrow, as remember, CSN California has added every remaining A's game to the schedule. It'll be 12:30 tomorrow. A's baseball breakfast against these Mariners. It's presented by Black Bear Diner. So, Felix Hernandez, Chris Bassett is the pitching matchup for tomorrow. And again, coverage starts at 12:30. First pitch scheduled for 12:40. So a little day baseball here in Seattle. Should be another beautiful day. So 0-1 to Stephen Vogt, his second at bat. Vogt pinch hit in the 7th and hit a fly ball to right field. And the Mariners bullpen has been a big story tonight. Went 3 2/3. Logan Kensing went an inning and 2/3. Carson Smith went an inning and a 1/3. None of them allowed any runs. One, 2 to Vogt. Struck him out. Chased the pitch down and in.
Stephen Vogt did get 2 at bats, but unfortunately 0 for 2, and that off-speed pitch down out of the strike zone.
So Sam Fuld, the final hope. If he can get on, Reddick would get a swing. Fuld was a pinch runner in the 7th inning. Fastball there, 96 miles an hour from Wilhelmsen. He also has that big overhand curve that he likes to throw.
Well, Sam Fuld taking a strike, and he took one down the middle. Good fastball, and good idea to take a strike.
97 from Wilhelmsen. And now 3-1. Wilhelmsen, one of the few guys who are in the bullpen this year that was in the bullpen last year, or even at the beginning of the year.
This pitch is missing outside. He's trying to keep the ball away from Sam Fuld. He has hit 2 home runs, Sam has, but one of those against the Mariners.
And there's a strike, and now it's 3-2.
Taken all the way. Just patience now. If he gets the fastball, which he should, outer part of the plate.
And he slices one down the left field line. Fair.
And it hit, and it's going to be a ground rule double. Fan reached over. Thank you very much. The way the ball caroms off that wall, it might have been close going to second, but
Now the A's are a base hit away from tying it up.
There's your fastball away, and he just reached out and just on the chalk. And when it scooted towards the seats, looked like a fan did reach out there and got enough on it, and that beverage just enough to maybe reach over a little bit too much. The ball was not going to go into the seats. It was going to stay in play, but once it hit the fan, it's a dead ball and a ground rule double.
First pitch to Reddick is low, so great speed at second base. And Reddick, a chance to tie it. He's 1 for 4, an RBI double in the second. Low again, 2-0.
I think this is a case of, again, first base open. If Josh Reddick, who gets a chance to play every day, he's come through with some big hits. And like Eric Sogard is in the on-deck circle, and maybe thinking about him as well. But Josh Reddick just has to be ready just in case.
And he drives him toward right, but Smith is right there. And that's the ball game. So the Mariners come back and they win it by 1 after trailing early, just like last night when the A's came back and won the game. So the final score tonight, 6-5, the Mariners over the Athletics. The crowd tonight was 17,498, and it took 3 hours and 5 minutes. 6-5 again is your final. You've been watching A's baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody Brazil and Bip Roberts starts right now.